Well, post Colorado vlog, so much has happened. Like my life flipped and did like a 180 in a matter of like a week. And I was like, is it too soon to like talk about this with you guys? I don't know. I'm just going to talk to you guys like if I were on FaceTime with you, because I don't really know what else to do. So yep, we're going to catch up because I've got some tea. Metaphorically, I have some tea. Okay. Where do I start? It's been a weird few months, right? So my dad's estate closed in August. I just can't believe what's happened. So my dad's estate closed in August, and that was like a really big deal. And I knew that was going to, I've talked to you guys so many times about deaths and rebirths, right? And like Persephone status and, walking through the underworld. And whenever you have, a big cycle of your life close out, prepare for something else to come in lightning fast. I knew this was going to be a big shift, but I had no idea what I was in store for. So also I found my ovulus. I thought I lost that a few years ago. I wonder if it still works. Anyway, maybe my spirit team will talk shit as I'm filming this. So anyway, kiss, rewind, harvest. Oh my God. Anyway, now I'm distracted. Property. Okay, only interject when I need you to interject. You can't just do all the talking, okay? All right, so my dad's estate ended, and I started the process of attempting to move to the East Coast, okay? And I just had failed attempt after failed attempt, and I was so frustrated. Like, big stuff was happening. Like, my dog got sick, and he got diagnosed with, like, a heart problem, and the vet was like, I don't think he would make it on a road trip. Like, you have to make sure his medication is stable. Like, we might have to up the meds or lower the meds. Like, it was a very stressful month. And then I was thinking about moving again, and I got sick with COVID. And it was just like, I knew the universe was, like, blocking me for a reason, right? Like, I knew Carol. Who's Carol? I don't know anybody named Carol. Hi, Carol. Anyways, I just kept getting blocked, and I was so frustrated. And then story. Yes, I'm telling a story. It says memento. Oh my God. So anyway, I'm distracted. Sorry, these are like little things that only make sense to me. Soldiers. So fast forward, I've got COVID. I'm going to turn this off. So fast forward, and it's the middle of October, and I still have COVID. So my COVID symptoms, I wasn't testing positive after 10 days, but I was sick for like 5 weeks. It was like a horrible strain of COVID. I got it at a public event that I went to in the beginning of October. And then I got a phone call that my godmother died, and I had to go to Colorado for her funeral. And the family was planning on making the funeral at like the beginning of December. So I was like, cool, I've got like some time, before I go. And then all of a sudden they're like, never mind, change of plans. We're doing it next weekend, which was like this past weekend that I was out there. And I was like, okay. So the week that I had to fly out, I wasn't sure what was happening with TSA because the government shut down. So I was just like, I had some friends that missed their flights and then like couldn't get home. And I couldn't miss the funeral. Like, I would have been absolutely beside myself. So I was like, well, I'm just going to drive in. It's a 10, 11 hour drive, and I have a new car, so I'm just going to do the drive. And so I left, and I was really stressed out because I was not planning on going back to Denver. Like, I haven't been to Denver in like 10 years. I haven't been to Denver in 10 years. And I was worried about going back because, the last time when I left Denver, the finale, I was like, I hate Denver. I'm never going back. I'm never going to go back to Denver. And I was worried, especially now with my parents gone, that I was going to just have like a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I was just worried I was going to be depressed the whole time, basically. So I drove in. I got into Colorado about 5 p.m., maybe 4. But that's still like a good 4 or 5 hours from Denver. So I was just very conscious of how I was feeling because I grew up in the mountains, I grew up in the Rockies, and I haven't seen nature in a long time, or at least the nature that I grew up with, because, Vegas is so like sterile and just like a desert, and so I'm seeing like the Colorado River, which runs along the highway, like the whole way into Denver. That was like a really special place for me and my family growing up. In fact, that was where one of my aunts wanted her ashes to be spread, was in the river. And there's a lot of lakes and trees, and it's fall, so it's like beautiful colors and like, one thing that I cannot deny is Colorado's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So I was like, okay, how am I feeling? And I just started crying my eyes out. And I didn't know what that meant. So I thought that it meant that I missed it, and I thought that was a really strange feeling because that was opposite of what I thought I was going to experience. So I keep driving. I drove through one of my favorite areas called Glenwood Springs. It's stunning there. It's beautiful. It's a haunted mining town. I've investigated all the places in Glenwood Springs, and I was like, God, it's just like even more beautiful than I remember. There's hot springs there. Like it's one of my favorite places to go in Colorado ever since I was a kid. And I had to drive through the mountains in the dark. And I got to like Aspen Vale, and it was like 30 degrees. And my windows in my SUV started to fog up, and I don't know how to use the defroster because I've never used the defroster in my car. And I was like, it's pitch black. I forgot what it's like driving through the Rocky Mountains at night. There are no streetlights, and like the highways are very curvy. There are places where there are no guardrails. You're very high up in elevation, and like one wrong move and you're flying off the mountain. And it was just like all this information. Like I haven't been there in 10 years, and it was just like all coming back. I was like remembering everything. And I was just freaked out because I was like, you can hit a deer, you can hit an elk, you can hit sheep, bears. I've had people hit bears, people have hit cougars, mountain lions. It's the wilderness. Like it's the wilderness, like straight up. And I just like forgot, like until I was in the moment. There was like construction, and it was like causing me to be so delayed. So I was trying to plan the trip where I made it to Denver before nightfall, and I ended up in the mountains for like 2 or 3 hours just because of construction and stuff. And I was like freaked out because I'm rusty, right? Like I haven't driven through the mountains in a long time. And I was sweating bullets. Like I got to Vail, which is like, it's a Vail Pass. You're like at the top of this mountain. It's like one of the snowboarding areas, and it's like one of the coldest areas, that in Eisenhower, because they're the highest peaks that you can drive through. I was like pushing all these buttons because like you're driving in the dark through these curvy areas, and you can't see. So I'm like trying to find the defrost. Like it was funny, but also like terrifying. And it was just so weird because I was like, I remember being in my 20s, driving through the mountains with my friends at all hours of the night, and we could have hit like a deer at any moment. And I was like, God, that was so effing stupid. Like that was so stupid that I did that, So I was just like reflecting back on like my youth of like dumb stuff that I did. And then it just became very nostalgic. And then I got into the hotel at about 8:30 that night, and my phone just started blowing up. Like news traveled fast that I was in town. And I didn't expect that many people. I couldn't see everybody. It was not possible. But like, it was weird. People sensed, like no one knew that I'd gotten in, and somehow they sensed it. Like I was getting messages on Instagram and messages on Facebook. And like some of them were messages like of people that I didn't even really, want to see. And so I started seeing friends and family the next day. The third day was the funeral. And, it's weird because Denver's changed a lot. Like I grew up there and it was very different. And then when I left, it was very different. And now since I left, it's also very different. I think it's gotten better since I left. When I left, because they had legalized marijuana, which I'm not against, by the way, but they had no rules and regulations when they had opened all these shops. So like there were marijuana shops everywhere, like back to back, every street corner. And it had basically pushed out just a ton of mom and pop shops, like shops that I shopped at. Like it shut the city down, and it made it like really ghetto for a while. Like it made it really ghetto. That was one of the reasons that I actually left. I mean, obviously it was for like paranormal and production, but I was like, man, it's like rough here. Like this changed the dynamics, it caused the cost of living to like skyrocket, and it just changed a lot of things, and it was really bizarre. And I just knew that I had to leave. So I was kind of curious going back what it would feel like if it'd be the same. And it's definitely toned down. So I think it had to go through like a purge I don't know at what point it purged, but it's much better now. The people are different and strange though. Like all my friends said it's a lot of people from Texas and California living there. So I noticed, like, if you follow me on Instagram, I was talking about a lot of people in the grocery stores are wearing their pajamas like 24/7. Like people just wear pajamas to the grocery store. And that was kind of shocking for me because I've lived in LA and Vegas for the past 15 years. And you do not see anyone at the store with pajamas. You just don't. And it was weird. I was like, my mind was like, and like some people weren't brushing their hair and it was like thrown up in like a bun, you know what I mean? And like you could tell like they just looked like they hadn't showered in days. And I was so confused because like I remember asking my friends, I was like, did we do that growing up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember. I mean, Denver is definitely known as like the most modern city of Colorado, right? And it's definitely way more casual than like the West Coast for sure. But I was like, were we that casual? Like, I don't remember going to the store in my pajamas. And my friends were like, no, we never did that. Like, we never did that, you know? So I don't know if that's the younger generations or what. But so, some things had changed. I realized that I remembered quickly how nice everyone is in Denver. It's a very calm, casual town or state. It's a very much a slower paced lifestyle. I don't want to say I had anxiety because I didn't have anxiety, but I was driving like I was anxious. Like I was driving like I was the asshole from California. And then I was like, oh my God, like, because in Vegas, everyone drives aggressively. Same with California. It's just a fast-paced life here, And so I was just really like taking it all in and just like mentally noting what I was seeing and witnessing and what I was feeling. Since I hadn't been back in so long, I was trying to figure out how I felt about it. And I have some good family there, some friends there still, and a support system. And I realized that I have been living a very fast-paced life. Production is fast. All of the contracts and negotiations I've been through and working in production and television is just fast-paced lifestyle. There's always something to do. There's always something happening. You're always on the go. And I was like, whoa, maybe I need to slow down. Maybe I need to slow down. And I also realized that I had unintentionally hurt some people by being gone for so long. I had unintentionally, I have people that really love and care about me. And I had such sort of like a bitter taste in my mouth when I left Colorado. And I just realized I'd hurt some people that really loved me. And I hadn't even gone back to visit, and I just realized I had hurt some people. And so that was something I had to kind of sit with. And I got to see my Aunt Joni, who's there, and she's now 70, and she's 70. And my thought was, no, I'm losing time with her. And everyone that's there, I'm losing time with them. It was so weird because I have personally been so career-oriented all these years. And I don't have children. And it's like, it's like both sides of the fence froze. Like I almost froze in time because I wasn't ready to start a family. Because I was work-oriented and I was so focused on Ghost Girl Diaries. And then it's like my friends also almost froze in time because nothing's really changed with them, but yet they have a family. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? So I was just like really absorbing what was happening around me. And, immediately by the first few days that I was there and I was surrounded by my family and my friends, immediately I was like, I have to move home. I have to move back, which I was like absolutely stunned that I felt that way because I thought I was going to be just depressed and didn't want to be there. And it was weird because it's like my parents are gone and I've done so much healing and it didn't feel like them in a negative aspect. It felt like home, like a positive aspect. And by the third day, I was just like, I have to move back. I have to move back. I also appreciate the slower lifestyle because I've been on the go so much. And like, it's weird just with like thinking back with Ghost Girl Diaries and production, and like I don't regret anything that's unfolded or happened. Like me moving to LA, me moving to Vegas was me pursuing my dream of getting Ghost Girl Diaries signed as a series, right? And I had no idea it was going to turn into a political career. I had no idea I was going to fight, sort of the misogyny atrocities that I did in it. I did not think it was ever going to up the way it did. I figured someone at some point would have given me a break. But I've also learned that I've used social media as a tool and an outlet for myself. I know this channel isn't as big as my other one with millions of views, but I'm building it, right? And then I thought about it and I was like, I can do social media anywhere. I don't have to be in Vegas. And I'm still certain, there are certain things that I'm still certain of. Like, for example, I know that I don't want to go back to Los Angeles. I'm certain of that. And I'm also certain that Vegas is complete. My chapter in Vegas is complete. But I thought I was certain I was going to the East Coast. Like, my friends are stunned right now. Everyone's in shock that I'm like, my family and friends in Colorado are just like so excited that I'm coming back, I also kind of forgot what it was like to have such a support system. Because once again, production is so fast. The life I chose is so fast. It moves so fast. I was never really able to develop a good support system anywhere else. And then I just got used to not having one. And then when I touched down in Colorado and I remembered what a support system felt like, I was like, I think I'm at a point in my life where I need this now. I think I have to go back to it. And the good news is that there are, I'm totally set on having like a Victorian home or a Tudor home or a historic home. They can be quite expensive in Colorado. There's only certain areas you can really get those. But I'm still wanting that. Yeah, I've just been in a lot of thought processes. It was a really beautiful funeral for my aunt. And even missing her life the past few years changed my perspective a little bit on just, my mom died, as you guys know, and I just had to heal. And sometimes you don't know how long that's going to take. Sometimes my dog is at the door. Hang on. Come on. Did you just drink my tea, sir? Did you just drink my tea? That is not for puppies. Do you want to sit here? So anyway, the worst part about moving to Colorado is there's winter. And I was there, the day I left, there was a really bad winter storm that hit. I had to drive through a new SUV, but I used to drive up there like an idiot in like a Mustang. I had all these American muscle cars. I had a Camaro. I had a Trans Am. And I'm like, how did I live past the age of 20? How did I survive? So anyway, my aunt's family invited me to come in and take some stuff from my godparents, which was really cool. I thought I would just share that with you guys. So my Aunt Susie, she was a collector of koalas. She loved koalas, so she had a ton of koalas. So I picked out some of her koalas that I brought home with me. Makes me want to cry. I'm not going to do that on camera, but she had a lot of koala stuff. And this is a cookie jar that I took. I drove home with me. It looks like it's probably from the 80s, but I love it. And I'm going to, once I'm moved and settled, I'm going to have that out on my counter. No, Theo, you're not going to inside the bag. And then my uncle was a huge collector of Garfield. So I got a bunch of his Garfield stuff. I'm not going to open it all. This is like a Garfield mug. And then something that meant even more to me was, I think I've talked about this to you guys, or I've talked about it in my book too. I used to work on cars with my godfather, and my godfather taught me how to build engines and stuff. He had a 1967 Chevelle with a chrome engine, and that's why I had muscle cars. I always had big engine muscle cars because of him. He helped me rebuild my Camaro once. He taught me how to do an oil change, he would time me on how to change a tire. And so I got a bunch of his tools from his garage. I'm probably never going to use them because I just want them to have his energy. But yeah, they let me pick out a bunch of stuff. He also had a lot of classic car plates for his cars. So I got to take some of his license plates from his classic cars. So I'm going to be hanging those up, and he was an Army veteran, so they have veteran on them. So I'm pretty excited about that. There's always a little bit of family drama that goes down with, funerals when people die. There was some family drama, if you want the tea. There was a woman that I'm not going to name that comes up to me, and she's like, do you want to come to my house later? It's like a family friend. I don't know her that well, honestly. my godparents raised me, so I like practically lived at their house growing up. But she was like, do you want to come to my house? And I was like, why? And she's like, do you want to see your uncle? And I was like, uncle who? Uncle who? And she goes, I stole your uncle's ashes out of your aunt's house and I have them at my house. And I was pissed. She should not have had those ashes. And I have a big mouth and I'll narc all day. So I threw her under the bus because we had to get those ashes back. I don't know why I was the only one she decided to word vomit to. Basically, it was my uncle's ashes. My aunt had them, but then she died. And then who do they go to next? So we're going to have a sort of burial ceremony for him in the spring. Yeah, so that was some drama that I had to be in the middle of, which I was like, great. Of all people, why did she tell me? I don't know. Thank God she told me, I guess. So anyway, the ashes are supposedly returned. Thank God. Let's hope. People are just weird, selfish when people die. They just do really weird things. So here's the rest of the tea. When I was there, I had a lot of friends message me online and asked me to meet up. And I was there for like 5 or 6 days, but like you can't do everything because it's just like there's not enough time. But I had an ex-boyfriend. We talked. He asked me out for dinner and I was like, I don't know how much of this to share. I'll tread lightly. So if you guys have been following me, you know who Christian is. So I loved Christian. I was in love with Christian. But the problem that we always had, I mean, he died when I was like 28 or 26, something like that. Christian was non-committal. He would not commit to me, but he loved me and he was in love with me. And that was like extremely frustrating. So that was why Christian and I never had like a solid relationship because he was non-committal. So there was another guy. There was a guy and I asked him for permission if I could talk about him and he said yes. So just so that's out there. But there was a guy named Grant that I was with for many years, like on and off. Like, you know, we were obsessed with each other. We were in love with each other. And we were like, if you're asking me what happened, we were just young. And like, neither of us had life skills. Neither of us knew how to adult, you know, like barely, just barely. And like, I don't think either of our families really taught us like how to adult. And we like clung on to each other and tried to like hold each other up, but like couldn't figure it out. And it was like anytime we got together, we would just draw each other back down and then we'd go away and then we'd come back together. And it was like we could barely keep ourselves afloat, let alone each other, you know? And so it was just constant back and forth and back and forth. And, you know, we kind of just got to a point where we were like we're gonna like really hurt each other if we keep this up. Like we just cannot keep like why can't we figure it out? And the answer now as an adult is like you were both young and you didn't even know what you were doing. Like, you know, it wasn't anyone's fault. Nothing happened. It was just we were young. I haven't talked to Grant in like 15 years. So when he agreed to see me, I was shocked because for me, he was always the one that got away, I guess, or like, and I was very open with him. Like I was always more like open with conversation and clearer with communication than him. Probably because I was like a very emotional girl and he was like an egotistical boy, you know. I always thought I was going to be with him. I always thought I was going to marry him. I think I talk about this in the book. Like it was really bad. Like every relationship I got in, every single one after Grant, I compared them to Grant always. And it was so much more than that. Like our relationship growing up was like, it was like, yes, we were in love, but like we had fun together. And like everybody, he had a lot of friends and I had a lot of friends and he had a lot bigger personality than me. I know that's hard to compare because I'm pretty boisterous, as you guys know from, you know, filming and stuff, but he had a really big personality. He's an Aries. Of course he's an Aries because that's all I date are Aries. He's very loud and just like, he's the kind of person that can go in a room full of strangers and make friends with everybody. You could take him anywhere and everyone loved him. That was just who he was. Like he just made friends easy. And I don't know, he was always, for me, like I'm a Cancer rising. So Cancer risings are known for being like very much in their feminine energy. And I think I've always been very girly and feminine. And I'm always attracted to like very masculine guys and like protective. Like as a Cancer, I'm a crab, Cancer rising, like I need to feel safe. And there was something about Grant's energy that was just like ultimate safety and ultimate home and protection. And we lived together. You know, he was the first guy that I lived with. And he was just fun. Like everywhere we went, everyone's like, where's Grant and Crystal? You know, it was always, where's Grant and Crystal? And, you know, I was devastated when we broke up before Paranormal Challenge, to give you guys a timeline, because that was sort of the trajectory of my career. And I mean, everything happens for a reason, you know, but I know that if I would have stayed with him, I would have never left Colorado. I would have never gone into production. I would have never done anything with film, because I was like that devoted to him. Like if he wanted to settle down with a white picket fence and he wanted me to be a wife, and I'm not even that kind of girl, you know, like if he wanted that, I would have been like, yes. Like that was just, he was the only one that I ever would have been like, absolutely yes. Like I'll be Miss Susie housewife, you know, like because I just loved him that much and I wanted it to work that bad. So anyway, after, you know, years of chasing and running and more chasing and running on both parts, we just kind of separated and then lost contact completely. We'd talked a few times over the years here and there, but nothing to ever sort of rekindle even a friendship. And then life went on. You know, I got married, he was engaged, and we started talking before Denver, and he was single, and I'm single. And we were like, okay, what do we do? Okay, let's just do dinner as friends, you know? And so he picked me up. I'm going to be careful with what I say, because he's probably watching this. Yeah, it was really sort of emotional. I got in my feels pretty quickly. I mean, he definitely did too. And there was really some healthy, therapeutic discussions that we had. He said a lot of stuff that shocked me. Like, he told me he thought I was the one he was going to marry. He told me he always thought about me. He wondered what happened to me. He told me he'd always tried to find me on social media, but I had changed my last name. And then my public figure name is Crystal Leandra, which is my first and middle name. He wouldn't have known to look for that. And so I told, you know, he asked about me, and I told him about everything with film. I was kind of careful with what I said just because people react strangely to me. People, you know, when they find out what you've done for work and stuff, sometimes people act weird. So I didn't want him to treat me any differently. And he just kept saying, "You're still Crystal. Like, you're still Crystal." And it's like really nostalgic when people see you online or see the fame that you've gotten or the attention that you've gotten, sometimes they tend to treat you like weird or differently. And I've said before, like, sometimes I feel like I would take it back because people just put you on a pedestal and you don't really want them to. You know, like, you don't want them to treat you any differently, but like, it's just how we are as a society. But he just kept saying, "Oh, you're still you, you're this." He's like, "You're the same." He was like, "You're the same. Your makeup's just a little darker. Your wardrobe's just a little darker." Like, I saw him pretty much gothed out that night. And he ended up driving me. He reminded me when we were like 19 or whatever, he used to take me ghost hunting. And he used to take me to this haunted road called Riverdale Road. And it's this old, I've done videos on it, I think on the old channel about it. But Riverdale Road's really haunted. They used to like hang witches up there, and there's like all kinds of crazy, like, the farms are up there, these haunted farms. And he was like, "Yeah, they've built a ton up there now. It's not the same." And he was like, "Do you want me to drive you up there?" And I was like, "Yeah, drive me up to Riverdale Road." So we drove up and down the road a couple of times. Oh my God, your car's so loud. If there's a ghost, you're not going to catch it.
No, that ghost is like, man, get the guy with the boxer engine out of here. This guy's loud as fuck.
Is this 104th?
No.
Are you pulling over?
Yeah.
Where are you taking me? Is this the...
This is 9830. These are the ballparks.
No,
so,
these are new. This
yeah,
was
so they built a ballpark and, like, you know, other, like, you know, stuff over here. Like, walking path for, like, people and that's even, yeah, even more what I'm
Are you scared?
No, you're just
I'm scared. You're scared. And what's so funny is when we were young, he would pull the car over. There's this area, there's a spot called Runner's Hill. And a lot of people that are runners have died on this hill. And they say if you pull your car over in this certain spot, you can see or hear people run by your car. It's like a ghost that runs by. So when we were young, he would take me up there and he would roll down like the windows and he would tap on the car and he would make it sound like someone was running by. And I would just like freak out. I'd get so scared. And so we went up there the other night and I was like, let's get out of the car and like ghost hunt. And he was like, no, I am not getting out of the car. So I took some video footage with him. So I'm going to play that for you guys. Also, there's like the saying that everyone says in Colorado, because like every state is probably different. But the saying in Colorado is, that's fair. Like everybody responds with, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. And I was like, I'm really not with the lingo here. I've got to get with the lingo. Don't ask me what's going to happen with Grant. I don't know. Like I got in my feels. So you can't date long distance, you know, it's just impossible. I think if I moved back, we would probably rekindle. In his words is, we can't fuck it up this time. But I'll just say this, that dude is and always has had me in a chokehold. And it still has not changed. And he claims it's the same way around. He says that I've always had him in a chokehold. So I think that we kind of like shocked each other a little bit. Like it went from like an innocent dinner to like, feelings are still there. So now what do we do? You know, so now we just probably need some space to let it breathe. And, you know, I need to get back to Denver. My Aunt Joni is sharper than a tack, but I have to move back. I have to move back for her. It's just the right thing that needs to happen. It feels like home. Like I've been home for a few days and I am like nauseous and like physically homesick. I am like physically homesick. Everyone's texting me. You know, I can't move in the winter. It's just not possible because those passes get so bad, you know, like, and even if I hired a moving company, I wouldn't want to risk their lives, you know, like, I mean, I guess if it plays out that way, it plays out that way, but I know that I'm homesick. I'm really homesick. And I just can't believe I feel like that. Like, I just need to go home. I just need to go home. And I'm going to continue to do work. And like, you can ghost hunt there. I went in a few vintage stores, like thrift stores. Oh my God, it's so good there. It is so good out there. So yeah, I don't really know how this is going to unfold. It's a big curveball that I'm kind of like, you can tell I'm still processing it right now. Because I was so sure about moving to the East Coast and like, I'm just now, it's the weirdest stuff with Denver. Like the air is so much cleaner. I feel like I'm just always sick in the desert. There's something here called desert fever and it's literally like spores from the sand, like literally like, and then like you can't drink the tap water here because it all comes from Lake Mead and Lake Mead is full of dead bodies. So you cannot drink the tap water here. And it tastes chemically. Like if you drink the tap water here, it doesn't taste right. Like you can tell it doesn't taste right. They also used to do tons of like nuclear testing north of here, like closer to Reno, like in between. And you know that shit goes in the soil and then it goes through the ground and then the water runs through it and you're drinking that shit. Like so many people here get like weird cancers and stuff, you know what I mean? So like you don't drink the water. And then I was in Denver and like all the water is from like the runoff from the mountain and like it's clear, you know, like you drive by the streams and the lakes and they're clear. It's all beautiful crystal clear water. Like I drove through my old neighborhood and it's changed a lot, like where I grew up. I took so many things for granted. Like there's a lot of woods there. I mean it's you know, forests, like it's the Rocky Mountains. Like I had 3 lakes that I grew up by. And you would just go walk the lakes. You'd go play at the park, go play at the lakes. And like Vegas is just, there's nothing nature-y. There's just no, like you can go into Red Rock Canyon, but like it's time to go home. And I'm shocked at myself for missing it so bad. And then like in my head, I compare it to like the East Coast. And I'm like, There's no way I could, I mean, like maybe I could have a second house there or something, but I have to go home. I have to go home. And I've lost a lot of time with people that I love. And I don't regret like pursuing my dream and pursuing paranormal. I did the right thing, you know? I think that a lot of my friends realize I've grown and changed a lot as a person because like, you know, a lot of them stayed and didn't leave Denver, where I left and spread my wings and I got to travel the world. And like most of them, a lot of my friends haven't even been outside of Colorado. So I think that my cultural experiences of like seeing the world and experiencing the things I have has made me grown as a person. And so like I have no regrets on that, but it's time to go back. And I'm also just thinking about, you know, it's time to think about family. It's time to think about starting a family. You know, do I want to have kids and raise them in the desert? And the answer is no. Like the school systems suck here. And I want my kids to have culture and I want them to grow up the way I did. I want them to experience the seasons and fall and the snow. And I'm going to share some video footage with you guys that I took of the mountains because it's so beautiful there. Yeah, it's like a return. So I hope you guys stick around on the journey. I'm going to stay in Vegas for a little bit. I don't really know what my time frame is. I'm still processing. But yeah, Colorado vlog. Might be going back to visit here. I bet you're just as shocked as I am, aren't you? It must be because I live on the West Coast, but I haven't seen gas for $2.80 for like 10 years probably. I'm like, wow, that's really nice. That's really nice. One thing I always will miss about Colorado is that view. You can see that view from anywhere in the city. I'll always miss that view. In Colorado, walking through the cemetery at night, which is probably the best thing I could have ever done, looking for my friend's gravesite. Yes, he should be buried here. Oh, Jesus. Where is he? Is this him? I used to be able to find him in a tree. They said the trees fell down. We'll be right back. Okay, she has the credit. This is so funny. I locked my car. So I'm in Colorado for my aunt's funeral, my godmother's funeral. And my other aunt was like, I want you to come meet me for breakfast. And I was like, okay, where? This is so Colorado. I had to park. I've got my accent back. It's so Colorado. I'm parked in a dirt parking lot behind an old coal mine, walking to the restaurant. I don't even know where I'm at. I don't even know. Where am I? Oh, I miss you, Colorado, some days. Some days I miss you. Look at the mountains.
Can I do outside if I can find something to take a picture outside?
Oh yeah, we can do that.